Hey, Shadow Spinner 14 here, just doing a little movie review. I love reviewing movies, so I'll probably be doing that a lot lately. I've been watching a lot of movies. So the first movie I'm going to be reviewing is Salem's Lot, the 1979 TV miniseries, which unfortunately a lot of people haven't heard of, but it's one of my favorite adaptations of a Stephen King novel. I love a lot of things by Stephen King. He's kind of awesome. And Salem's Lot is one of my favorites. So, I guess I'll start off with plot. It's kind of hard to do a plot with this because so much of it is like revealed really slowly. And I feel like if I tell too much and you haven't seen it, I'll give a lot away. But I'll just give a basic overview. It's about this writer. His name is Ben Mears, and he used to live in a small town called Salem's Lot. And he left when he was younger, and he's moving back recently. And for some reason, he finds himself drawn to this old house called the Marston House, which sits up on top of a hill outside of Salem's Lot. But he finds it interesting that two people just bought the house, a Mr. Straker and a Mr. Barlow. And they're opening an antique business in town. Mr. Straker is around. He's kind of weird. But Mr. Barlow hasn't even shown up yet. And the writer, Ben Mears, is really suspicious about what they're doing up there and why they're even opening an antique store in a really small town like Salem's Lot, which is, it's almost like they took Mayberry from the Andy Griffith Show and plopped it down in a horror movie or something. But he especially gets suspicious when a bunch of kids start going missing, people are disappearing or turning up dead, and he thinks they have something to do with it. So that's the basic plot overview. If I go too much further, it really spoils it. Like, with a lot of Stephen King stuff, the more exciting aspect of it is, I think, that you don't really know what's going to happen. So it's fun to figure it out for yourself, to watch it along and not be told, oh, and this happens, and this guy is bad, and this guy does this. So that's as far as I'll go with that. But the plot is really, really good, especially when you don't know what's going to happen. I really didn't know anything about this movie when I started watching it. So I thought it was more interesting because it was almost like a puzzle that you could figure out for yourself while you're watching and try to determine what's going on. So I actually really enjoy that about Stephen King movies, but I really wouldn't read the back of the box if you don't want to know what's going on. They kind of give away, like, everything. So, yeah, so that's the plot. That was really, really good. Stephen King stuff is always really good, plot-wise, I think. Anyway, I guess I'll go on to acting. To be honest, I didn't know anybody in this movie. Now, that sounds really bad, especially because I'm a movie buff, but in my defense, this is a 70s movie. And I don't watch a lot of 70s stuff. But, I'll read out the cast. It has David Soul, James Mason, Lance Kerwin, Bonnie Bedelia, Lou Ayres. So, those, I guess, are the top billed cast. They don't even mention a couple of people that I thought were pretty good in here. But, everybody is really good in this movie, I have to say, except for one person, which really irritated me. I don't even know the actor's name is. He plays this one kid, I think his name is like Danny Glick or something. He's really awful in this movie. I don't know why. It just makes the other kid actors look better in comparison, though, so I guess that's good for them. But just, he is really dramatic in a not believable kind of way, I guess. Especially in one scene in particular. He's supposed to have, like, be passing out or something. And just the way he falls, he's like, oh, like, it's just really weird. And then, the parents are like, where's your brother? Where's Ralph or whatever his name is? And he's like, Ralph? Like, it's just really weird. I didn't really appreciate his performance. But, his is the only one that I have a gripe with. Everybody else is really good, but I especially want to call out two other people who are really good. James Mason was really good. He's Mr. Straker. He is kind of epic in this movie. He just plays the part really well because he's supposed to be this kind of uppity English gentleman, but he's kind of malevolent at the same time, if you know what I'm saying, without giving a lot away. But he plays that really well. You're always kind of suspicious of him, although I'm not going to say whether or not that's founded later on in the movie, but he plays that really well. He he really casts this kind of suspenseful presence whenever he's on the screen. And the second person who wasn't even in the top billed credits, which I don't know why, was Reggie Nalder, who plays Mr. Barlow. He comes along later, and he's a huge plot point, which that's why I'm kind of surprised he's not on there, but whatever. So he was really good in this movie, especially considering everything he had to deal with while filming this. If you know anything about the movie, like you've seen it previously, or somebody's kind of given away everything. So I'm not going to say why I feel that way, but he has to deal with a lot of makeup and heavy props and costumes and kind of things like that. So I really appreciate that he actually still managed to give a really good performance and didn't let all that hinder his acting ability, which I'm sure was kind of irritating. So yeah, those two were like my favorites in the movie, but everybody else is also really good with the exception of that Glick kid, like I said. So casting was really good and acting. Music was really good. I have to say that was actually really great for a TV special. Usually music in that is just kind of whatever, like it doesn't even matter. But the music here was really good. I'm trying to think. I think it was composed by Harry Sucker or something like that. I know that was the last movie he ever composed anything for before he passed away, but that was really great. It really built up a lot of tension and suspense, but while it like still fit the small town setting, it wasn't out of place or or irritating or anything. So the music was great. Special effects I have to talk about. This is a 70s movie. It is not on par with today. If you go in expecting that, you will be severely disappointed. It doesn't really deal a lot with special effects. They usually try to use makeup and props to deal with that, which is probably a smart idea since the few scenes that do special effects are kind of you know what I mean? But it's a 70s movie, 1979. So, I mean, they didn't have a lot of what we have today. So, you can't really blame them too much for that. But they did really well with the makeup. What the characters supposed to make, that was really, really good. And they were really inventive with a lot of scenes. It was crazy. I mean, especially one scene without, once again, giving a lot away. It involves this one character kind of suspended in midair. And the first time I watched that, there were no wires, no strings or whatever. And I was like, what the heck? Like, how did they do this? So I went online to find out. And apparently they used some kind of crane or something because they wanted it to look more realistic and more scary, which it did. It actually did, because when you can see the strings, you're just kind of like, ha ha, that's really stupid. But yeah, that was just really inventive. So they do a really good job with what they had for back then. It's really good. I guess I have to talk about how scary this movie is. It's very scary. Without having a lot of blood and guts, which is actually really an accomplishment. This movie turns out being quite terrifying. At least I found it. It's pretty scary. Without having gore all over the place, which was kind of cool. That in the 70s they could still make a movie that you'd find just as terrifying today. So yeah, it is very, very scary without giving too much away. Like I said, there's always this kind of sense of impending doom. And then there's, later on, it's pretty scary stuff. Without giving away, I'm a bad person to review a movie that has a lot of spoilers. I'm really bad at that. So I probably won't be reviewing movies like The Sixth Sense. But, yeah, so it's a pretty scary movie if you're looking for something scary. Directing is pretty good. It's directed by Toby Hooper. I think that's how you say his last name. I actually did not care for Poltergeist, which he did direct. I didn't like that movie. I don't know why. I just didn't really care for it. But I really did enjoy Salem's Lot, so kind of redeemed us all that. I know a lot of people like Poltergeist, but it just, I don't know. For me, I thought it was kind of weird. So yeah, everything is really great with this movie. It's a long movie. It's the 3 hours movie. But like, if you want to break it up, you can. I mean, I've watched it all in a row most of the time, so I've watched this movie. Because I just find it more entertaining that way. It's not broken up. There is a theatrical version which is shorter, but I don't know what that's like at all. So I can't say if that's as good as this one. I know they cut out a lot of scenes and like added in a couple, but I don't know what that was. Maybe I should watch that. But yeah, for the original miniseries, I really, really liked it. I give it 5 stars out of 5 for a TV miniseries. So it was really good, especially considering it came from the 70s. I mean, 70s movies are good, but I'm saying, like, for effects and scariness, it actually was genuinely good in all those aspects. So, yeah, like I said, 5 stars out of 5. I would definitely check this out. It's really good. Thanks for watching.